It is shocking that in spite of these glaring realities and the dangers of reinstating subsidies, which will collapse the economy and create intractable distortions, the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, is leading and coordinating other groups to sabotage the federal government. NLC, after a 2-day warning strike in the first week of this month, has announced an indefinite strike to shut down the country. It is of note that NLC's insistence on the strike is despite the federal government's engagement with its leadership to explore options for addressing its demands. This raised our suspicion that the union may not be upfront with Nigerians as the true intent of its industrial action. Instance, while the NLC is slugging out with the federal government, we are concerned that is ignoring the larger issue. For instance, in a country of more than 200 million people, the number of persons in the employment of the federal, state, and local governments is fewer than 10 million, which means the NLC is barely articulate about what happens to those in private employment. The inflationary tendencies that will result from what the union is pursuing will further impoverish private sector employees, lead to more insecurity, and threaten national stability. Additionally, the posturing of the NLC is such that the issues the country is dealing with may be further compounded, as it could unwittingly mass Nigerians onto the streets in protest, which could cause more chaotic scenarios than the NSAS protest. Ominously, it is now being mentioned that the NLC leadership has received $5 million from a certain opposition leader for mobilizing the strike, organizing protests, and throwing the country into crisis. The aim is for NLC to paint the Asiwaju government black and cause a destabilization plot that will bring the government down. Note that the NLC has been paid to undermine the presidency of Asiwaju and throw the country into confusion. Unfortunately, the recalcitrant disposition of the labor union tends to lend credence to this claim. Only such huge financial inducement can force people to willfully press ahead with sabotaging their